Hi, this is Pastor Jim Driscoll of Christ Lutheran Church with the NCTV 45 thought for the day. Today is Patriots Day. This is the Patriots Day that's been around since 1820. It's observed in Massachusetts and Maine. Patriots Day commemorates the beginning of the American Revolutionary War, which began on Lexington Green in Lexington, Massachusetts. Paul Revere, William Dawes, Samuel Prescott, Henry Wadsworth Longfellow wrote a poem that school children used to have to memorize. Now they don't even know what you're talking about. It's to commemorate the Midnight Ride. Well, Longfellow said it was about Paul Revere. Revere was quite instrumental in this opening confrontation with the British, but he wasn't alone. Dawes and Revere made it to Lexington. Then Prescott caught up to them. A British patrol stopped them along the way and held Revere while Dawes and Prescott escaped and proceeded to Concord to alert the Minutemen there. The British plan was to capture stores of weaponry that had been built up by the colonists. The British had no right to disarm the colonists like that, but in that period, the British weren't terribly concerned about the rules. I'm going to give you a condensed version of Longfellow's poem. Listen, my children, and you shall hear the midnight ride of Paul Revere. On the 18th of April in 75, hardly a man is now alive, that's 1775, is now alive or remembers that famous day and year. One if by land, two if by sea, and I on the opposite shore will be, ready to ride and spread the alarm to every Middlesex village and farm. But mostly he watched with eager search the belfry tower of the old North Church. On the belfry's height, a glimmer and then a gleam of light, but lingers and gazes till full on his sight a second lamp in the belfry burns. Unquote. The Minutemen met the British on the Lexington Green. They were quickly broken up, but gave the company in Concord more time to organize. Ralph Waldo Emerson wrote the Concord Hymn. By the rude bridge that arched the flood, their flag to April's breeze unfurled. There once the embattled farmers stood and fired the shot heard round the world. The Americans turned the British army at that bridge in Concord, all the way back to Boston, about 20 miles of hiking. Minutemen were attacking the British all along the way. These were the opening shots that 7 years later, in the British surrendering and America becoming a free and independent country. These ordinary men really did affect the course of human history and were a model and are a model for countries seeking independence around the world. This is Pastor Jim Driscoll of Christ Lutheran Church with the NCTV 45 thought for the day. Check us out on the web. It's christlutheran-newcastle.org. Questions, comments, contact me on the website. For a transcript of today's thought, go to revjamesdriscollmdiv.com. Sunday worship is at 10:30 a.m. All are welcome. With the NCTV 45 thought for the day. God bless your day. All right, strap in because this is going to rock some boats. There are organizations that often try to game the unsuspecting onlooker. They try to be the in crowd, the all knowing source of knowledge. Many have this odd idea that they know more than they actually know, and they presume on other areas of life, much to their hazard and to the hazard of the people who buy into their nonsense. We have churches that claim to be churches, but seriously seem to be a front for big business. We have churches that, okay, are churches, but their doctrine is so distorted based on the teachings of people who have no basis for making their claims or teaching but they do. And it falls under, well, that's my opinion. If you have cancer, try a cure from someone who gives you their opinion. Good luck with that. Betting you're going to die. Then there's organizations that say they're not churches, but seem to undermine Orthodox, genuine churches with this sort of shtick. Well, we're not really a church, but we claim totally without any basis that all churches lead to the same God, and that actually gods that date back thousands of years are still present and active as God. When you start hearing this double talk, or talk that is this gimme this, then gimme more than more, never stops because it's never satisfied, run, don't walk. Okay. As a genuine Christian minister, I've been vetted on a very regular basis. I have extensive education and training and personal life history, 15 years of experience in Christian ministry, various aspects of Christian ministry. And I know that what I teach and guide people in is fact. The more I study, teach, and write, the more I hone what I know to be genuine Christian truth. Many others don't know, but they're running a game based on what they want with no basis for what is. They don't know the original languages. They really don't know the history of cultures. They don't know genuine Christian doctrine, and they don't care. They create this populist belief system out of thin air, and then people actually buy into it, much to their future loss. If you don't know the genuine historic Jesus and what he is about, you're not saved. If you believe some lodge or group that has no basis in what they are telling you, you are risking your eternal soul. There are many groups out there that want you to turn away from genuine salvation in Christ, and they will spare no lie, deception, or diversion to turn you away. Going to talk more specifically this week, but bear in mind, you, not your lodge leader or your ill trained, self designated pastor or your teacher professor, don't really know what they're talking about when it comes to genuine ministry in Christ. They're not concerned with your salvation, and most of them have some serious personal issues that, and you will be alone in front of Jesus, who will ask you why you believe the nonsense. And you won't have a really good answer, and it won't go very well with you. I'm Jim Driscoll, pastor of Christ Lutheran Church, 1302 East Washington Street, Newcastle, Pennsylvania. Check us out on the web. It's christlutheran-newcastle.org. Comments, contact me on the website. For a transcript of today's thought, go to revjamesdriscollmdiv.com. Sunday worship is at 10:30 a.m. All are welcome. The NCTV 45 thought for the day. God bless your day. Hi, this is Pastor Jim Driscoll of Christ Lutheran Church with the NCTV 45 thought for the day. If you believe some lodge or group that has no basis in what they are telling you, you are risking your eternal soul. There are many groups out there that want you to turn away from genuine salvation in Christ, and they will spare no lie, deception, or diversion to turn you away. Going to talk more specifically this weekend, but bear in mind, you, not your lodge leader or your ill trained, self designated